Okay, hello. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making it so when we have a minimap, we can kind of jump around the level by clicking on it. So to do that, we're going to do a couple of things. But first, I'm just going to double check to see that the Twitch is working. I kind of want to stream to YouTube too. That seems like it could be fun. Oh, obnoxious channel. Here we go. Streaming. Okay, it looks like it's working pretty well. Sweet. So let's get to business. All right, so the first thing we need to do is basically get when the mouse is over the minimap. And I've kind of already done a little about that. I have these functions that get called that send the root of the transform. So what we need to do from that basically is on this mouse over, which is called every single frame, we want to convert the position and screen coordinates of the mouse into where they would be in world coordinates according to the mapping of where the minimap is located. So to do that, we kind of have a couple of different things that we need to do. Like the first is that we need to basically have the position and then scale it, right? Now the problem with that is that we do actually intend to actually scale these things. So screen position exactly coordinating wouldn't match. So for example, let's play the game real quick and we can just look at this. Everything would be scale 0, 0 when it's at the lowest resolution, and then we scale up to match the min of the two scales or whatever. So if we go to our minimum target scale, here's our minimap. This is super zoomed in. So this would probably be what it would look like maybe on the Steam Deck or something like that. It's 720p. So we want it to when you click on this or whatever, right? And we should be getting our different pieces here. Enter, exit, etc. We want this to correlate regardless of the scale. So if we're at a really high resolution, 4K, we're going to be scaling this up. And what that will look like is going in here, clicking on the panel and being hey, your local scale is I don't know, 444. Well, maybe less than that, but that's kind of the idea, right? 333. And that means that now the pixel coordinates here are different. Now, because we're scaled down here or whatever, it's not going to change much. But if we maximize this, right, what pixel we're at here is going to be different and whatnot. So we need to do something about that. We need to make that work reasonably. And that edge distance also scales, right? So we need to figure out how to conserve that or whatever. So let's look at our root and see what sort of helper functions we have. So we have the size delta, which is the number of pixels wide it is, which sort of helps us because it tells us at least how big the minimap is. It's going to be a 225 by 225, but then that's going to get scaled. So if we look at do we get a scale? Yeah, so we have a local scale and then a lossy scale. So I think we can just use lossy scale here to basically tell us all the times we're being scaled in the X and Y above us. And that will be, tiny bit wrong, lossy or whatever, but I think that should get us most of what we need to scale our amount out. Now, another thing is that we have position. I actually don't know if that's going to be in world position or relative. Because like if we're looking at the prefab here for gameplay UI, we're looking at this guy here, right? So if we look at debug here, we see, hey, we got local positions of these. If we scale this up, then its actual position is going to go with that scale. Yeah. So doing this is going to be a little tricky, I think. I'll start a little bit of tea. It's a caffeine-free, like, spice kind of cinnamony thing. It's pretty tasty. Yeah, so if we look at like the local position here, we can see that like this is relative to its parent for a local position. So it should be like, yeah, 12. 12.7, 12.7.7. Yeah, okay, so yeah, because this is the one that's going. Yes, this is the stretched one. This is pushed 8 from all edges, 8 pixels, and this gives us a slight border, right? And then this one here, the panel, that's going to be like the background part. And this is what we actually are going to like scale. So like this will go to like 2, oops. Or no, 1.5 or something. Right, to get bigger or smaller, depending upon how many pixels we want to actually fill. Now, it should mean that this border here doesn't change. We always have a constant 8 pixels. I actually don't know how I feel about that. That's a little bit iffy. Like, one of the reasons why we do that is just because, like, you know, monitors might not have great color on the edge pixels, or, like, you might try to be scrolling and clicking and dragging, and so if you're on, like, the edge of the screen, we want there to be, like, a little bit of a leeway so you're not, like, clicking on buttons. You can actually unclick at the bottom. So, like, if you were making a line from here to here or something like that. I guess it's probably fine to leave that just as a static 8. Like if we go in and modify the scale of this guy, I believe that doesn't work particularly great. Yeah, because this is going to scale out from the center here instead of scaling out from the corner. But we could, of course, just modify these directly as local positions if we really want to change that later to like push them in or out further. And that's not too hard. Yeah. But it does mean that we do want to like take into account these offsets because we're going to be looking at screen pixels, right, to know where we're at. So the lossy bit's great. This should work pretty well. You say, hey, I want the lossy scale, please. And so this should be vector 3. It's just vector 2 or vector 3 for this because it's a. Come on. Scale. Lossy scale. And then we want to like know that offset. Which is tricksy. I mean, what we could do is just say, what is our position? Like, I feel like that's just going to give me freaking, like, not in screen space. Let's just see what that does. Because, like, maybe I'm wrong and we can just use position. And that would be pretty great, right? So if we say, hey, I want the root's position. When we have mouse over, we'll print out that. Let's put some text on this. Pose plus new line scale. Right. And in theory, that should like work fine if this is, because like the thing is the UI module for like the canvas render is in screen space mode. And so these should be like matching that, probably. Hopefully I left my scales back. Okay, so let's bring this back to our minimum target. Clear, so why are we getting a bunch of what is this? Wash, rotate. Okay, well that's kind of obnoxious. So, hang on, how do I make these like collapse? Yeah, so what I'm getting right here is in like world coordinates, I think. Right, so if we look, oops, here, discard, like this is, the center of the world is here, and it's giving us a -8, -4, which is, like I said, it's in world, so can't use that, which is annoying. Well, then let's see, what can we use? If we just look at minimap panel. So we're like, hey, local position. Okay, maybe we can use local position all the way down. Right, because this is going to be of the panel. The panel is going to be basically giving us the screen space local position. Right, because it's -1900 by 11 or by 1000, right? That's going to be there. If we switch this over back to like minimum target, we'll see that, hey, we're like 600 by 3. So what we could do is basically say, hey, the Rex local position, and then this here tells us like how far from the edge we basically are. right? Because this isn't actually at the corner. Camera goes there, we have that 8 pixel gap. So if we use local position, we can know of the panel. We can know how far from the center of the screen we are and where our bottom left corner basically is, right? And so from that, if we take our mouse position and minus it by that, we can get like an AABB. And then we use the lossy scale applied to this, right? So if this local scale becomes 222, for example, then this guy's lossy scale is going to include that, and so we just multiply to know how big or small our thing is. Okay, this seems like a plan. It does mean that we need to like now get the panel, which is a little bit annoying, but meh. Public transform. This is going to be any map panel. Technically, it's a panel rect. And then, hey, I have this be effectively the starting place. So, local position. So this is the like vector 3 mini map dot left screen space is this guy. But that's like wrong because this is relative to the anchor at the center of the screen, I think, right? -8 or something. But the -8 part doesn't matter because it's beyond, and like we would just have a larger position or a higher magnitude, like to go further down. So, what might be easiest is just to like actually make a rectangle that is the bounding box of the thing as the way to like how to make this code make sense. So let's make a function that does that. And that's going to be like mini map rect. No. And can you just return an AABB? Bounds. I think bounds just has. Okay, I'm upset. You can't freaking do bottom left, top right. I just want that. Okay, we'll just do a block. So if we have this position here, this is like the offset from the center. If we know what the camera, where's the like, this is the camera controller, right? Our camera is equal to player camera, game camera. Technically it's the UI camera, but they have the same resolution, so it doesn't actually matter. So vector, wait, no, it's pixels. It's in the 2 vector. So vector 2 int camera. Let's just do actually a vector 2 because let's do some math on it. Move it. Camera pixel is equal to UI camera dot pixel width new vector 2 UI camera pixel height. Come on. Sometimes autocorrect, man. It's like a crutch that sometimes lets you fall. So if this is the actual like pixel size, right, the bottom left is going to be at 0, 0. So if we say, hey, this is the actual position, then half plus half of this, right, 2 camera half pixel size is equal to camera pixel size half of this, right? If we take half of it or subtract half of it, right, we'll add because we're shifting it. Go plus. Then that is actually, I think, the correct thing. Why are you dumb? So minimap bottom left space. And then we just want like the top right space. Oh, and then we also have to plus the offset times by scale, because this then has a local scale of the panel, right? So plus minimap panel rect dot local scale, and then that local scale we're going to multiply by the rect, or rather the root's local position. And that way it gets like pushed out or not. Why don't... But why won't you let me multiply component-wise? I'm annoyed. Oh, no, it's because it can't convert after, I think, maybe. So if we go to vec2, come on. Is that your problem? Why don't you component-wise multiply? What to do? I mean, we could just do it ourselves, but that'd be obnoxious. Is there a way to do component-wise multiply otherwise? Oh, it's not local scale also, we want lossy scale. No. this after or before? Okay, so we have first the offset. You know, I'm gonna do this in like steps. We got too much going on. Right, so this here is like actually the pixel space. This one needs to be scaled because the scale is on this guy right here, or we're going to put the scale on the panel. Is it just like a scale? Okay. Fine. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to call the scale function. Okay, and then we just want to add this, right? This should just give us a vector 2, yeah? Vector 3, 2, vec 2. Multiplies. What sort of function is this? It's taking by value, and I guess it's just scaling the left one by that amount. Hey. Okay. So in this case, we would actually say, hey, I want this scaled by a thing, but then it needs to be like a local variable because otherwise the values immediately thrown away. So like this is the like vector 3, and we're just moving to 3s because we'll need to have these types match up. And I guess we'll just say this is like minimap rect offset is this, and then scale by we actually want this to be lossy scale. And then we can just make another variable for this. Screw it. Third component, not gonna do anything. Minimap this then gets scaled, right, by the thing. And then we just need to add them together. So this is going to be vector 3 minimap bot left rect, or root rect, is equal to this plus this, right? So that should give us the bottom left, and then we have to do one of these stupid scale things again. So to get the minimap top right, we then basically say, hey, I want the roots size diff scaled, right? So vector 3 minimap size is equal to root dot size delta minimap size dot scale, and let's just put this here, scale. So now it's been scaled up and down according to scale, which is great. And then we can get our top right from that, because it'll just be this plus the bottom left, right? So tier 3 mini map top right root rect screen pose or in screen space top right rect root screen space is equal to this plus that. Bam. Now let's make a function that returns these two. Probably later. For now, I'm just going to get this working before I make a function that does the things. Didn't actually need that yet. Okay, so now we have the bottom left and top right. We can basically say, hey, is the camera even in the space? And then also we can correlate the things, right? So the easy thing to do is now we have this in screen space. We can say, hey, what's the mouse screen space? Right? So input mouse position. It's in pixels, but it's a vector 3. That's really weird. Okay, so this is the mouse position. And so we'll do some stuff now. So one thing we want to do is first get it in coordinates so it's normalized to the level. That's one of the first things we want to do. So we know what the bottom left is, so if we subtract, we can find the vector to the mouse from the bottom left, and that's great because then it gives us a normalized. And from that normalized, we can shift it and find out the actual world position from the root stuff. So, wait, is this a? Oh my gosh. It's cool. It's a different thing. It's not a big deal. So first, get the vector to the mouse from thing. So var, we want basically vec. I mean, this is kind of scaled up position on the rectangle, right? So mouse pose in rect is equal to mouse pose plus by or minus by the mini map bottom left in screen space. And now we have the mouse position there. We can scale it down, and then we have its position relative to what we know the size delta is of the root. And then we just divide, and then we have the normalized. So this is the mouse pose in rectangle, but this is scaled vector 3 mouse pose in rect, and then the unscaled version is going to be inverting those scales. So mouse pose in rect divided by scale is another thing you can't do. Sometimes I get sad. It happens. Yeah, I guess we should have to write it that way. It's dumb. It's dumb. Okay, so is this, and then we say mouse pose in rect dot scale by 1 over scale. Which I guess you also can't do. So like a math f dot invert over 1 or wait, am I just expressing it incorrect? Yeah, there we go. No, that's so if we're going to invert it, dang it, I remember how to do like inverse scales. Remembering this. So we know what the scale is to go out, and then we want to invert that, right? So that's just like dividing by that instead of multiplying. Yeah. So in theory, we should just do this divided by scale. Once again, that doesn't work because they don't allow stupid things. So I was like, okay, well then if I do 1 over, right, and then a scale operation is what I want to do, but then that doesn't work because you can't invert a vector 3. I'm confused why you can't. Is there like a helper? I'm just not thinking X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Nope. Psi. Okay, well we'll just make it. We'll do it ourselves. It's equal to new 3 over scale dot x 0f scale dot y f scale dot z. And then we would say, hey, you're that scaled mouse pose in rect dot scale by the inverse scale. So now, in theory, this should put this guy into like rect space, right? Rect space matching the diff size here, the minimap size. Now, if we want to know that vector 3 mouse pose normalized, so mouse pose in rect normalized is going to be equal to mouse pose in rect divided by or multiplied by the inverse maps, or scaled by the inverse map size. I am upset. Oh, and we scale this, so this should be like map size, and then we do another step. Any map size scaled is equal to any map size, and then that. There we go. And then to get the inverse, it's just going to be this again. We want the inverse map size, and that's going to be this, this, and this. Okay. Now we have the inverse map size. We can now scale by that. It's this. Scale. Inverse map size. And this should be this one. Right, so this is the position in a rectangle scaled. Or wait, hang on. Sorry, this is position in rect scaled. Scale it to that. Inverse scale. And then we scale it again. It's such a weird thing to do to normalize it. But it should in fact work just fine. I hate it. Okay. So now this gives us the 0 to 1 in theory that we care about, right? So debug log. Probably there's some bugs here. So mouse pose rect normalized is that, right? And let's give this a roll. I'm tempted to make like a helper function, or like, I'm not sure if you can do operators. Let's just like take these two numbers and freaking do the basic crap. Oh, we didn't set a thing. We set the panel of the thing here. Prefabs, UI, UI, open, minimap, normal, and panel. Save. Grab some water. Okay, so now okay, well that's not right. So like if we're right here Like we're getting a close correlation, but we're not, in fact, getting... Oh, wait, hold on. I'm doing a dumb... Yeah, because we want to multiply by the inverse of size delta, because we want to divide x, y, z. So by scaling, is there just a math multiply? Okay, well, whatever. I hope this is it gonna force recompile? Yeah, it is. Annoying. I should do a hash. Okay. So now what I want to do is just attach the debugger and look at this. See what's going on. So I'm going to go what should be basically normalized 1-1. Okay, so mouse over rect, good. Pixel size, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Velocity scale, the freaking crap is that? 0.1. It should be 1. Okay, well, I don't know why that's that number, but I know the local scale of the panel will be correct. So, where do we get the panel from? Panel, local scale, right? Well, that's one problem. We didn't use the top right. I mean, we will probably. But, Thing is, it only happened when it's over, so it's like kind of meh. I guess we could clamp it. Could do a clamping operation with that. Anyways. F9. Oh wait, we got like basically what we're expecting, right? So that's perfect. Normalized, that's like up to 1, really dang close. There we go, there's a 1. And then down here we should get zeros right on the edge. Center 0.5. Perfect. Okay, well that was the one problem. Okay, that's great. Now all we need to do is take this normalized position and then like convert that into world space, which is very easy because it's just like a multiply or whatever, right? So we have the map, so we actually need to get this, don't we? Oh no, we have it, map info. So they basically say map info, and then we have rows and columns, and from that we scale the thing, we do the stuff. So var, didn't we have? yeah, right here, map size. So we have this map size here, and the map size, we then are going to say like, hey, we multiply this times this. We'll make this 3 just so that we're not silly town. So we have to freaking call scale again. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset. Let's see how many do we have? This is very dumb. Okay, anyways, so this is gonna be the mouse position, or rather it's like the world position before it's been offset. So mini map world pose is equal to mouse pose in rect normalized, and then mini map world pose scaled by the map size, right, by the columns, because this is going to basically just say, hey, it's not there, and then we need to subtract by half map size so that it actually is centered, right? So mini map world position minus equal by map size times by 0.5f. And that's where we want to move the camera by, right? This is our minimap to world position. Minimap mouse world position. There we go. Look at all that. That's fun math town. Fun math town. Now fingers crossed it'll still work when we go to like. Oh, we only gotta. I don't know why they did this. Let's call this freaking scale. Just give me the multiply operator. Yeah. I had an interview once, and I forget exactly what I was doing or whatever, but they were like, hey, how would you do like component wise multiply? And I'd be like, well, you just multiply the components. And they're like, what would be a case where you use that? And I'm like, I don't know where I'd use that. Well, here's where you'd use it. This is the place that you would end up using that when you're trying to convert between multiple spaces all the time of different scales, but not doing a full, like you don't need to do a full transform beyond just scale because you're using points. You're not doing vectors with like rotations or anything. Okay, so now we have presumably where this actual world position is. We want to tell the camera controller. So this is a different refactor that we want to then say, hey, please do that. Now, all of this code doesn't need to happen unless a couple things are true. So we don't need to do anything if the mouse is not down. So first off, we have is mouse down on minimap. So if it is not, then return if, and then also if not is mouse inside minimap, return, right? And both of those things, if either of those are false, then we're done. We're done here. We don't need to do anything. But in the case that we do all this stuff. Now we need to actually say, hey, the camera, where are you, camera controller? UI. It's not in the UI. It's a strange place. Anyways, this, we need to factor this chunk into an actual function. So internal set camera position, and that's going to take a vector 3 world pose, or we're going to take 2. Okay, so we should maybe make 2 of these. There's like set camera position to floor, maybe. Right, because where's the startup? Hang on. Because we have like the floor position and what we've clicked on. Use the floor position. It's like where we want the camera to look at is that point. So there's this bounds bit, but there's like that's like maybe a separate thing. That's like an like a private or whatever. So we're going to be like, hey, snap camera to bounds. And that's just this thing, right? For this, we need map info, which we got someplace. I guess there. All right. And we need to call that here. This is after a pan operation. Now, this is via cursor. This is via move. So we can't pan off the edge of the world. Now, we also have the initialize, right? So this is calculate look at. So this is the start position here. So this is basically the function we want. Calculate camera edge, snap to camera bounds. Now, calculate position to look at HQ. So basically just start position here is the world position, right? I believe. Let's just double check this. Yeah, kingpin transform position. So that's like the actual ground position. So let's go and make that. The thing is we want to call snap inside of there, but okay, we can just calculate that before we call it in set here, right? So we want like internal void set camera to look at floor pose vector 3 floor pose, and then this is here, so we move the camera looking at, and then floor pose, and then we call our snap to camera bounds right after, right? Now, for this one, we want to do set camera to look at floor pose starting position. That happens after this, and then because that already does inside of it a snapping, that's there, and then we snap in both cases when we set the floor pose. No, perfect. And then this can go away. And I am going to move this to be up here because this is like right next to like the other interfaced likey things. Okay, so then we want to call this set camera to look at floor pose to also be here. So this is the minimap in world position. This was a mouse position, so it should be a 0 in the third. I just don't understand why it's vector 3, but it is. So we should be able to say camera. What's it called? Camera controller? Oh, dang it. We knew that camera controller. Cam is equal to player dot scene links dot camera controller, and so we say cam dot set look at floor minimap world minimap mouse world position. Bam. And let's just do that just so we can see where it is. We'll probably remove that in a second. I'm a little curious about the order of these things, but I only care about a few of these. Okay, let's do that. Let's not collapse because I care about the order. Though mouse over is going to be gross with that now. But it only is going to happen when I click, right? So we'll see. All layer bounds. Okay, I don't. Enter, exit, enter, exit, enter, down. Oh boy. Oh, I can go out. Dang it. Like I should only be able. Wait, what? What? Why do I go all the way over here? But it is. So, what the heck happened to my bounds? Did I break calculate? Did I break my calculate somehow? I changed the order of some things. Do I like calculate edge? What the heck happened? I tested it to work on this level. Ah, what the heck? I'm annoyed. Is it also broken the level I was testing it a lot yesterday? Like I very distinctly remember testing it on this level. What the heck happened? Like, duh? Game camera. I'm not even using screen width anymore, am I? Oh no, I am. This is for the panning, isn't it? Yeah. Scrolling action, pan speed. Like, what the heck? Okay, let's do a diff on this file. Like, I am perplexed. Okay, so a thing we did was we set our camera to look at floor before we calculated the edge. Another thing we did called that floor pose, vector target. And then this is no longer doing that. And this used to be player merit check map info. I am confused. Okay, let's, I guess, look at it. When your stuff breaks and you're not looking. Okay, well, we're gonna do a quick detour because this is bothering me that the snap that I changed, like, now doesn't work. Like, what the heck? Should be able to go, like, to there-ish. Not out to here. No. Okay, before I think it's something I changed and narrow in on that, let's just switch. Wait, what the heck is with the missions not showing up? Oh, it's because they don't show. Well, darn. Because they need to be, like, unlocked, I think, or else they don't show. So I need to go to the main one. Oh, hey, Joel. Or Cake Ninja. I am trying to make the minimap be able to jump around the world, or the level, but it's being a little bit difficult. Okay, so let's go to that level and just see if there's something else that could be explaining stuff. So we tested it on, like, strange connections. Let's figure out why. Like, is this a new thing, or is it just, like, specific on that level? Like, because I 100% know it works on this level, but, like, I don't know. If it doesn't work here, then I broke something in the ring factor somehow. I don't know why. Okay, it looks like, yeah. Okay, so for some reason, doing that snap before, I guess, let's run this, right? So for some reason, doing it like that is, like, important. Somehow, I don't know why. Like, these are all relative things, right? We're just trying to get relative space in world space. So I don't know why any of it would matter where it is in the world, right? Oh, wait. Oh, no, it super does matter. Because the orientation of the camera is different. Even its position might be different, right? Because in this camera where we set to look at, we also set the offset here to -25, right? That's why. Okay, so this does have to be called first. That is important. In fact, actually, yeah, so must be called before calculate camera edge so that we are the correct distance away from the ground. And this is like just this once. For just. Yeah. Okay. I'm expecting that to fix the issue. Yeah, so hopefully that was the last bug, and it will just work now. And you'll be able to zip and zoom around the world. Zip and zoom, zoom and zip. Yeah, because if the camera was like much further away or much closer, then, or if it's much closer, then you'd have like less edge, but then you moved it out and you're like, okay. Yeah, so it's probably much closer, and that's why it's like, okay, when all the border edges are negative, because it's got to like have this tiny camera. There we go. We got that half space, half space. Look at that. Yes, and it looks like it's, so it's the center, and then it bounds. Very nice. And then, yeah, we have that half space off the edge, half space off the left, half space off the right, half space off the top. Perfect. Now we still have this problem where we need to intercept. So like you can see I'm like building while I'm navigating on the minimap, and that's because we need to say like, hey, don't do inputs. But we can scroll on the minimap, and we can also jump to notifications. Look at that. Look at that. We have technology. Okay. So I'm going to commit this, and then we'll do the message intercepting bit, which hopefully will, you know, make things look better in terms of like not building behind when you're trying to navigate the level. That would be the worst for corruption maps. Or like, oh, I just built a wire as I was trying to like jump. Ugh. Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. Okay, so let's commit first. Because I feel like, you know, we'll go back to that first level. Just, you know, I'm being a little paranoid. But I just want to check the first level again. Go back to the pretty level. Pretty level that takes a little bit longer to load, I guess. Well, not much, because it's like, it's smaller in size. So there might actually be less total stuff here than like a less decorated level. Perfect. Perfecto. Perfecto. Okay. Go back here. PowerShell. Prefabs. Why am I in scenes? Add prefabs. Git add scripts. Status. Commit. Minimap can now jump around. Woot. And it only took 5 scale calls. When you want to just scale things sometimes. Oh, we got a push from coworker. Pull that in real quick. So some Death Valley stuff. I'm gonna make compare dynamic campaign progression. Logic. I don't think anything should collide. Oh yeah, that contains some bug fixes for some things. That actually is nice to have that. we'll get fewer red errors on things. This would be nice. Okay, so now we want to go and address that input interception thing where we want to say, hey, please don't actually acknowledge these commands of clicking the mouse because we are over the minimap, and that's just not a thing we want to do. So the question is like, we just want to, we only want to, like, so if you click and drag and then let go above the minimap, I feel like we want to keep that input, but we want to say, hey, the initial click, if you clicked on the minimap, that click should get wiped. And so we only wipe presses, we don't wipe releases. Because you could release over the minimap and have that be valid as you're like trying to make a wire or something. But then if you click again, the click would then be intercepted. Say, hey, don't do that thing. So let's see. So we could just say, hey, on the minimap controller, we can make a quick like getter thing for this. So bool is mouse inside any map get, and this is just going to return is mouse inside minimap, and this is going to be internal. And let's go over to our player input controller, which is player. And then like, it's like mouse down or something, press, click. I don't remember where it is. Making them wash, click, wash, found, press, record. Here we go. So on click, here we go. So on a click, we look to see if it's triggered. Don't push, not triggered without click having been triggered first. Yeah, so this basically will ignore the up button press already. So because we need to have a previous press, and this is because like you can unclick like when you're in an alt tab state. So if you click off the window, alt tab, and then unclick, we don't want to cover that case, and we could get the unclick, the not triggered part of that. And so we're just like throw it away. Like you were like context switching or something, that's not valid input. And this way we can guarantee everything is a click and drag. Now, the same is also true that we want to put another thing here where it's like, hey, if we are over the minimap and triggered, then like don't record the click, right? So do we have a reference to the player here? We do, perfect. So he's like, hey, if triggered and player dot scene links dot minimap dot scene links dot, it's like gameplay UI controller dot minimap links dot minimap controller dot is mouse inside minimap. So if we're triggered and we're inside, then return, right? If the mouse is inside the mini map, then we do not record the event. So we have it. Okay, there's a thing that's a little bit silly about this is that we have another place where we do something kind of similar for other inputs and we handle it differently. And now I'm thinking, hey, maybe we should instead like throw this getter in here and then like have a thing that's in here that just checks and says, hey, are we inside the minimap? Are we over buttons? Like what is our state of things, right? Because later down here we have another thing. Cheats dev. Where is it? Actions bar. I think we do it with a wash. Let's see. Can change and want to change action. We wash clicks in that case. We wash clicks in the cancel case. We wash clicks on the, this is like the, yeah, in the actual using of them. We wash clicks, actions expired. Yeah, if they time out, we wash them. If we have a jump notification, we also wash them, so that's like the space bar. And we also wash that one, yeah, it makes sense. Want toggle mode, we wash there. Want build mode, yeah, wash, 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 wash. That's all the washes. Okay, so hover. Yeah, hovering is not what we're looking for either. I'm trying to remember where this is at. Like, I thought it was like a little bit up here, but maybe I am misremembering. Like, you put it maybe here. Yeah, want cancel is like want change action. How does it work? How does it work? Okay, well, we can just go and look at it. So the case is like here, right? So what uses this? This is like connected to that. Show tooltip, play, action unlocked. Action button controller, UI controller, FF message, do action. Here we go. Okay, it was literally like the first thing we looked at is just wash click. So this is actually done in a lot of places. We wash click when we do an action. We wash click. So maybe this is actually the correct way of doing it, because it's the way we do it in most other places, right? When we change command, we wash click. When we do selection mode, we wash click. Yeah, we do this in a couple places, so it might make sense to also have a thing to say, hey, when the minimap clicks, we wash click. right? Instead of not recording it in the first place. Because there's a lot of reasons, right? So like when we do an action, we watch click. The problem with that is that it actually like doesn't let you mouse up over the thing. Is this already a bug for that? I feel like that's the thing we would want, is that if you mouse up over the menu, that it works and it like draws the line, right? It does the command. But if that's not the case, then like maybe I can clean that up in the process of doing this. So let's do let's like put that right there. Yeah, it works. Because we're not doing a mouse down, right? So it works just fine. Yeah. So the way I did fix it does work already, though. Right? Okay. Well, like what would it be? Would just be like right here. We'd just say, hey, on down, watch the click. Like, and that's a really easy thing to do. And it matches the rest. So I think I'm gonna do that. Right. Okay. You have your code working one way. It's good to like do not use the click or like. The thing is, I don't know about the order of this, so this actually might not work because it depends upon who gets triggered first in the thing. And maybe we actually just want both. Right? Like maybe redundant. We'll just do both. Clear the clicks when we are this made redundant. But like, whatever. Okay, cool. But in theory, that should just fix our problem. I mean, it was already fixing our problem before, so if we do both, it doesn't matter. We can like leave a comment there. Let's do that. Let's do minimap. Put cancel. Block. Okay. Well, that's basically what I wanted to get done today. Kind of bigger refactored be to start doing the scale stuff for the UI, so that if we have really high resolution monitors that are, you know, most people will have, that we do like the correct scaling of our UI. Should be good. So yeah, it does appear to be working. We're not building anything. And what the heck is going on there? Okay, I'm gonna put that down as a bug. It's a little silly. I thought I already had a thing open, but January 31st milestone. We're just gonna say, hey, minimap. This is a polished visuals game UI for quit. This will move left, right when pressing. Was like A and S. What? Now it's not happening. Oh, like that's actually maybe correct. Whoa. Okay, that is not correct. Okay, that's 100% a bug. Okay, so levels page lets you use the missions. I don't even know what they were called before. Like, use the like, oh, is this like missions and upgrades headers? Headers like text input fields. Lol. Okay, cool. That'll need to be fixed. Okay, let's get rid of these here, and then we'll commit. Then we commit. I'm gonna just leave this here. It's fine. Some pretty dense math. Okay. What are you talking about? It's assigned but never used. It's used right here, dudes. So you want to make it private? You insane program. What are you even wanting? Okay, anyways, cleaning up. What the hell are they talking about? It's used right here. It's used right here. Like, I don't understand this compiler. It's used here. It's assigned here, assigned here, assigned here, and assigned there. And then it's used here. Why would you think that it's it's never used. Do you mean this? Like you want an initial value? No. But its value is never used. I have no idea why you think that is the case. It is in fact used right there. Compilers are insane. Sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. Like this is a bunch of not used parameters, right? But that's because whatever. It's a reference. Who cares? I passed it in. Might want it. I might want it later. Okay. So let's commit this. This is just like, this is working code, guys. This is working code. You know, I'm getting pretty hungry, so I'm gonna get some food. Like there's some things we can do now, like, you know, we got so much stuff, but specifically around minimap, right? Just did this, which is great. We can display walls. We have like a background texture we're going to like make. Display level colors a bit. Like we could do a thing where we render the level from like a top-down view, maybe, and like save that texture as a minimap. So it's like a I mean, it's basically just like a utility thing that we would create that disables grid, a couple other things, and then renders an image from a camera onto a texture. That would be interesting. I haven't done very much with Unity in regards to that, so I'm a little hesitant on that one, just because I don't have experience doing that. But you know, there's possibilities there. It might also be the case that we don't need that. I'm not sure. I feel like that would be nice because it would make the minimap look a little different on every level. If the background, like height map stuff, basically is a little different. So that's kind of a maybe. Push notifications. We should do that. That is a fun thing to do. We have no notifications to really push, but maybe we could modify a tutorial to do that. Like, so there's a couple like things we could do a notification on. Could like notify, say, hey, like this part of the level. So like when we give the like destroy enemy HQ, we could notify on that when we push that as a thing and give it the position of the enemy HQ. That would also make us have to write another function, which I think we maybe already have, which is just world to minimap location for icons. And then we just bring those in. We make a quick, easy icon / sprite manager for that. And then between those, we could actually use I've never used FF tweener thing here. I forget what it's called. It's like FF action. Yeah, FF action. So maybe we'll use that for the first time, because that can be pretty helpful for that sort of thing. That being said, it's not as controllable as I'd like for pausing, which we'll want to do. I don't know if we care about that. It's like a level of polish we're probably not going to get to this game when we ship it. Okay, so minimap now like is cooler. Building stuff behind it. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on by, and I hope those watching found this to be pretty interesting and useful. But yeah, you have a great day. I'll probably throw this up on YouTube in a bit. Adios.